Okay, you guys, it has finally happened. I'm sitting down making a video talking about the Vancouver Canucks trading captain Bo Horvat. I have the jersey, I have the C, I have the 53. I'm not getting rid of this jersey because I'm a big Horvat fan. But the Vancouver Canucks have traded Bo Horvat to the New York Islanders for, I'm going to butcher this, I'm going to always butcher this. I don't know why they traded for him because he has a tough name. Anthony Beauvillier. I think I just killed that, to be honest. Aatu Räty, love it. And a 2023 first round pick with a condition. That is, if it's top 12, it then moves to next year. So I want to dissect this trade because there's a few things to talk about here. I see a lot of mixed opinions about the Vancouver Canucks fans here on this trade. A lot of people saying that we fleeced the New York Islanders. A lot of people saying that this is a terrible trade for the Canucks, and I want to give my 2 cents as a Canucks fan. I've been a Canucks fan my whole life, so I really want to talk about this trade. Also, I've been a big Bo Horvat fan, as his whole entire career has been in Vancouver so far. So, everyone has known, all the teams have known, just everyone in general in the hockey community has known that the Vancouver Canucks needed to trade Bo Horvat. We chose to sign JT Miller. Whether that's a good contract or not is a totally different topic. I've talked about that in a different video. So if you guys would like to see that, then go check it out. If I can find it, I'll link it. But I'm okay with that signing. And then they signed Kuzmenko, which I absolutely love, by the way, to another 2-year deal, which just even more solidifies the fact that they can't sign Bo Horvat. So Canucks were strapped. Teams knew they couldn't sign him. So I thought the Canucks weren't going to get a lot for a trade. But I'm going to be honest, I thought this was actually a really good return for Bo Horvat. And I will break it down. First off, let's talk about Bo Horvat some more and talk about his departure from the Canucks. Obviously, it is very sad. He's the captain. But this gives Vancouver a time to try to move some pieces. Things needed to be changed in Vancouver, first off. Like the way things have been going the past previous years, whether it was Bo Horvat in the locker room, maybe not communicating as a captain, or whatever it may be. I'm not even going to put it on him. Whatever it may be, there needed to be a switch up in Vancouver. And it's quite frankly, there can't be any more of a switch up than trading your captain. So I'm okay with this. I think in the long term, this could be good for multiple reasons. One, it gives a switch up. We have 2 new players coming in now, so having new faces can be good sometimes. Just get people kind of in good spirits and just have good communication with new players, and it just brightens up the locker room sometimes. Also, thinking about Bo Horvat being a UFA, the Canucks clearly tried to sign him to an 8x8 deal, 8 years, $8 million, and Horvat said no. He thinks he wants and can get more than that. And if the Islanders give him more than that, that is a big mistake in their part, in my opinion, which is another reason as to why in the long term, I think the Canucks won this trade. Bo Horvat's probably going to want around $9 to $10 million for 8 years, and that is absurd for Bo Horvat. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Bo Horvat. Big fan, but he is just not worth that, in my opinion. Let's dive into some Canucks stats, shall we? I got them right here. Obviously, this year, Bo Horvat is exceeding all expectations and playing really, really well, putting up 54 points in 49 games with 31 goals. But that is not sustainable for Bo Horvat, in my opinion. That's not the type of player he is. He did get a lot of assists, a lot of dished pucks from Miller. Can that happen to any other player? Like, can Barzal dish Horvat the puck? Obviously, that can happen. But in my opinion, Horvat is just not a certified point per game player. In my opinion, he is around a 60 tops 70-point player, other than obviously this year. We could see that he comes in next year and also plays really well, and he could live up to the hype. And if that's the case, that's still fine with me, because Vancouver at the end of the day didn't have the money to sign him. But me personally, seeing Horvat his whole career, and his career high other than this year being 61 points, I just don't see him being that bona fide point per game superstar player that you see. I even think on Vancouver, Horvat wasn't even our best player. I think he was second to Elias Pettersson. And if you're going to pay Horvat $9 to $10 million, he has to be your best player. And in my opinion, he just isn't that kind of guy. He's good, but his two-way game isn't there as well. Like, a lot of people seem to think Horvat is the best two-way center there ever was, but he's not. He wasn't even one of the best on Vancouver. The dude has, think about this, the dude has 54 points, and he's only a +3. There's a lot of mistakes to his game. Obviously, I'm sad to see him go. Like, I don't want to just rag on him because he's not a Canuck anymore. I'm probably, if I get an Islanders jersey, I'm getting Horvat on it. If he signs long-term, of course. Because I'm still a Horvat fan. I've always been a Bo Horvat fan. So, it definitely sucks to see him go. But again, long-term for the Canucks, this is just not a good signing. I'm glad they didn't choose to sign him and they decided to strip him off and get some pieces back. Let's start off with what the Canucks got in Anthony Beauvillier. I got it. Beauvillier is signed through this year and next year at a cap hit of 4.1. So the Canucks are saving around what, like $1.2, $1.3 million in this trade this year, and I guess kind of next year because they're not going to have Horvat. So I'm okay with that. I think Beauvillier needs, this is such a tongue twister. I think he needs a refresh from a different team. Like, he needs to just go somewhere and have a fresh start. I'm looking at his stats here, and they're nothing like impressive. They're not like a wow. Like, we didn't just like trade 1-for-1 and like win the trade. Obviously, the other pieces are going to matter. So he is a roster player for sure. I think around $4 million is still a pretty decent price for what you're getting. This year he's having a down year, only 20 points in 50 games. He could turn that around. Last year he only had 34 in 75, so that's kind of a bit of a disappointment. But the year before that he had 28 and 47, which I think was the year he signed that contract. So that was a pretty good season in my opinion. If you put up around 28 points in 47 games, that's not too bad. So hopefully he is somebody that the Canucks can work with, and he can kind of turn into somebody. And even if he puts up around 50 points, I think that is okay. He's somebody who can play left wing and center, judging by his stats here. I have not really watched him on the Islanders, so I don't really know. But that's what it says here, which is good for Vancouver. Obviously, we have PD and Miller as our 1-2. And he could be a winger for us. He could be a center. We'll have to see. Probably with Mikheyev out, he probably will be a winger. And if he plays with PD and does well, this could be a sick. The next piece the Canucks got was Aatu Räty that I absolutely love they got him. The Canucks need some more prospects in their prospect pool, and we just got the Islanders' best prospect in Aatu Räty. I really like him. He adds some size to this team, and he's a centerman too. I see him being a permanent, legitimate third-line center for the Vancouver Canucks in the future. He may not be right now, but I could see him being in the future. He's only 20 years old. He's 6'2". Like, he's a tall dude, big dude, and I think he'll fit really well in this team. We really need some more center depth because other than JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, we don't really have that third-line center right now. So I think he will be a really good fit in the future. Again, like I said, he may not be right now, but in the future, I think he would be. Keep in mind, I don't know if he's going to come up and play in the NHL right away. It looks like he's been struggling a little bit on the Islanders. He's only got 2 points in 12 games. And then in the AHL, he's got 15 points in 27 games. But this is what Vancouver was looking for. They were looking for a guy who maybe needed just a revamp, a fresh start. And that's exactly what I think he needs in his short career in the NHL. And I think that's exactly what Beauvillier needs as well. It's just a fresh start. So we got 2 of those guys. I'm really excited to have Aatu Räty though. Like, really excited. He was kind of a late pick for the Islanders. And in my opinion, kind of a really late pick. So I remember there being a point where he was supposed to go pretty high, but he ended up going in the second round. I really like him, though. I think he will be a bona fide NHL player for us. Again, I don't expect him to be more than the third-line center, but third-line center is exactly what we need. And then the first-round pick, it is a top 12 protected, which is a little bunk because the Islanders probably aren't going to make the playoffs. So I don't know what they're doing with this trade. I think maybe they're doing it in hopes to sign Horvat long-term. Maybe they don't even think they're going to make the playoffs this year. They just want Horvat signed long-term before anyone else could, so they're okay trading all these pieces. I'm not 100% sure what their plan is. That's the only thing I can think of, though, for the reason why they put a top 12 protected on this is because they just expect to not make the playoffs. And if they do just barely miss, Vancouver's getting a decently bad pick in like a 13th, 14th, or 15th pick, which I definitely don't want, and I know Canucks fans don't want. I would rather us wing it next year and hope they miss, but we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, we could have another pick next year and have 2 picks in the next year's draft, or maybe they start looking better but just miss the playoffs and we get ourselves a 15th pick and whatever our pick is. It would be sweet. No matter what, we're getting 2 first-round draft picks, or we're getting 1 extra. We will have 2 picks in either this year or next year, which is good for a team that has a terrible prospect pool like we do. So you guys have it. That is my initial thoughts. This is like right away. Right when I saw this, I turned on the camera, grabbed the jersey, had to record this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. So who do you think won this trade? Do you think the Vancouver Canucks did? Do you think the Islanders did? Do you think this was a fair trade? It's going to be hard to see. It's going to be hard to tell. We're going to have to see how Räty develops, what first-round pick we get, how Bo Horvat plays, if he signs long-term. If he doesn't even sign, then it's just a terrible trade for the Islanders, so he kind of has to sign there. But there's just a lot going on here. We'll have to wait and see in the upcoming days and even just years to see how this trade develops. But let me know initially your guys' thought on the trade. Thank you guys so much for watching. As a Canucks fan, I am okay. I'm alive, okay? I thought I was going to be broken down seeing this trade, but I think I'm okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed. I'll talk to you next one.